Welcome back, everyone, to another Creative Artist Podcast. My name is Andrew.
Mike.
And we've got Leon in the back over there. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about content creation. And we've got a special guest with us here today. I'm going to brag a little bit about her. The reason why we're talking to special guest is not only because she has over 400,000 followers on TikTok. She's got millions of views on different videos. She not only creates content there, she also has her own podcast called The Pink Cadillacs, where they explore the world of Elvis. She not only does that, she's a realtor, she's an actress, she's a model, and an equestrian, which we'll get into whatever the hell that is in a little bit.
I can tell you right now what equestrian is.
What's an equestrian, Mike?
Listen, equestrian is just a fancy word for horseback riding.
You stole that from me.
Okay, hold on, guest. Hold on, guest. I didn't introduce you just yet. Our guest, she's so successful in so many different domains that we had to have her on. She's a really dear friend of both of ours. But please if you're driving, don't put your hands together. But if you are maybe doing laundry, put the towel down.
On YouTube.
And put those hands together, please, for Victori Ann.
Thank you so much for having me. I thought you were going to say put those hooves together. You had so much to pull with. I know.
Put those hooves together, those horses.
Since you got to practice the dad jokes.
We do have a good-sized horse audience, though. A lot of horses do.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Wait, people who love horses or horses themselves?
I'll let you decide. Victori, thank you so much for being here. Really
I'm so happy to be here. It's such an honor. I know we've kind of been working on planning this for a while now, and it's so cool to see you guys in your environment, in your zone, and everything that you guys have been talking about and so passionate about. It's so cool to see it come to life in front of me.
Victori, listener, and Mike and Leon she's a huge part of the reason why this podcast even started in the first place. She gave me a lot of courage, So, and I hope so, and I want to get to that too. Maybe some tips and tricks for people to put themselves out there.
Yeah. But
before we get into any of that, how long have you been creating content and putting yourself out there?
I feel like I've always, when Musical.ly was a thing, did you all ever have Musical.ly?
No, what's
Musical.ly was what TikTok was before TikTok is now. So I was a Musical.ly creator. I've always been into YouTube and Musical.ly and Instagram, but I never knew how to really put myself out there because in high school and so on, I just didn't really have the time to, nor the passion. I kind of just did everything for myself. I created an equestrian account on Instagram because I wanted to be like all my other friends who had a large following. Little did I know they were buying followers at the time. Yeah.
Hold on, you can buy followers?
You didn't know that?
What are we doing?
We're waiting on a couple of them to come through.
You can buy followers and buy likes, but it shows when people do buy followers because their engagement is not equal to the amount of followers that they have.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
But I didn't know that as a kid, so I always thought I'm never going to get to that level, so why even try? And it wasn't until when TikTok rolled around, it was early 2019. I started just making kind of relatable videos on there, putting my stories out there. I didn't expect anyone to see them, but I just always had this sense of humor and just kind of wanted to express myself. And it started picking up traction. It went from 20,000 views, 30,000, 100,000 to 1 million. My videos were averaging from 30,000 to 80,000 likes per video.
Jeez.
And it just started from there. I didn't know what type of content I was creating, where I was going with it, or even how marketing or branding worked for myself. I just started putting myself out there and making the stories possible.
You started when you were in high school or after high school?
It was middle of college.
Middle of college.
Yeah, I was a college student. I just moved back home from going up on the panhandle of Florida. Came back home and just started making content with my horses.
And what was the catalyst? What?
Making content with horses.
It's equestrian.
I feel like that's what I'm doing in here with you too.
Okay.
Boom, cha, digga. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt. This is really important. You're making content with horses.
Okay.
No,
Mike, you had a question.
Go ahead. What was the catalyst? Man, you really got me on that.
Go ahead, Mike. Say the question, the interview question you had.
What was the catalyst for I don't know, the moment where you're like, okay, yes, I'm going to make these videos and put it online? What was the reason?
I just wanted to find a community that I could relate to. Being an equestrian, we kind of have a similar story. I was bullied a lot growing up because I wasn't that it girl, And so I was just looking for a community that I could feel and kind of understand with, and they understood me too. Because in the equestrian world, it's a lot about who has the nicest horses, nicest equipment. It's a lot about money and show. And I was just looking for the girls that love their horses and didn't have a lot of money to spend on everything. And that's when I started making that relatable content and found that community within TikTok.
Wow. That's the way to do it. You find the community and make it yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like it was like the niche for everything. I mean, I don't want to get into the Elvis stuff, but that was the same thing with the Elvis podcast as well. I saw an opening and realized it needed to be filled, and I wanted to do that.
Yeah. You said something about you wanted to create stuff that was relatable, or that was kind of how you approached creating it, making something that's relatable. And for you, I mean, how much time do you spend thinking about what is relatable versus what you just want to see out there? Or how do you?
So when I first started,
Yeah.
I would just put the phone up and start making.
Whoa.
Anything that came to my mind is what I would spew out and like go from there. And a lot of the stories started from experiences that I had growing up. And I created this character named Sally. And Sally was my younger self.
You created a character?
I did.
Like
You've never watched
Beyonce.
my videos, have you?
Hold on. He said like it's like Beyonce.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
She has this stage person, Sasha Fierce is
Oh,
her
I
stage
wouldn't-
name.
I thought that was like a demon.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it.
Way to go, Mike.
Wait,
Well, we
Sasha
don't listen.
Fierce.
I thought no. I think that's
Sasha
her.
Fierce was definitely a demon.
I feel like Mike just wanted to show the audience he knows a little bit about Beyonce.
I know
and he
a little
found an
bit.
opportunity to throw it in there. He's like, oh, it's like
Oh,
Beyonce.
that you have a character that you go to that when you need to build something.
She and I play off each other. So I wouldn't say it's like Sasha Fierce. I like the idea though. She's a little scary. I wouldn't compare Sally to Sasha Fierce because
Yeah, way to go,
Sally
Mike.
and Sasha Fierce not the same. Okay,
Sally
got it.
Sasha Fierce.
no, because honestly, when I started promoting them, like you were talking about like being embarrassed and being vulnerable in front of
Yeah.
people. And I started making videos that were embarrassing and were very vulnerable because I was putting myself in a position where it was humorous and like really out there and exaggerated stories. And so for me, I knew everyone that probably bullied me growing up was going to see it. They all had TikTok and I had a large following within that community. So it's going to be like, oh, look at that Victori girl. She thinks she is something. But like that never stopped me from making that content because I just continued and continued and continued. And I got to the point where I was like doing mini giveaways when I reached 20,000 followers and like supporting my fans and just like everything that I was doing was coming out of my own pocket. And I had not started getting brand deals at that time.
When you going back to creating relatable content and creating this character, that sounds terrifying to me. Like for me to go and create my alter ego Raul and put him out there.
Why that name?
I wish you could have, Leon. I wish you could have had the cameras on both of them because both your heads when I said Raul.
Just put the camera on me real quick and you just say Raul. Again.
Oh yeah, so my alter ego character I've been working on called Raul. Yeah, Mike, maybe. Here's the thing. I would be terrified to put that out there in front of people because it's welcoming any sort of judgment or people to just tear into that and, say whatever they will. And especially at this point. So when you created this character, do you have a following? Or are you still kind of just having fun at this point and just creating stuff just to put it out there and find that community?
Started just creating these skits with this girl that would talk like this. And she would go, Miss Victori. And so with that, yes, you see what I mean?
I was watching some of them
you
today.
Saw them?
Yeah.
Wait,
and I didn't know why
No, you did so like more than what he does. Thank you so much for looking at my videos.
Okay. I'll do you one better. So you had mentioned that one of the things that you feel like separates you is that you didn't really care about the money aspect. You just wanted to be in touch with people that love horses.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your videos and I'm seeing like, when you first started, everything's like 250 views, 300 views. And the first time it really took off, I want to say it was something like 15,000 views.
Yeah.
And it was one about you feeding your horses. And you're like, oh, I'm just feeding my horses real quick. And you have like the bucket of food. And then the camera just kind of glances into the bucket and it's just money.
Yeah.
Dollar bills. And like that was the first time it really went from like the 200s to like the multi-thousands. And then there was another one where you're talking about the movie Black Beauty.
Yeah.
And what is it? That they're mares, not stallions.
Yes.
And that one went from like 15 to I think 50,000.
Yeah, it escalates.
So I guess I want to know when you see the change from 200 to 15 or 200 to 50 and then 200 to now 21 million, like what was the point where you were like, whoa?
It's always a doubt of like, am I important? Am I really making an impact in this community? Because again, you see these numbers on the screen and it doesn't seem like it's enough. because you start getting accolades. It sounds so prissy the way I'm saying it, but like for the large people who do have a following, you see a number of 70,000. It's like, great. How can I get more? How can I get 100,000? How can I get 1,000,000? And those numbers start to become smaller and smaller the more views and the more likes that you get. So for me, I went through a period where I would take down a video if it didn't reach 10,000 likes.
Whoa, you did that?
I did do that because I held myself and my content to such a standard that I wanted to create content that would blow up and go viral every time. And that was something I had to mentally work through because the algorithm is not always going to be in your favor, especially with the video that you post multiple times. Because I would take it down and then like repost it the next day at a different time. And it's just having that peace and understanding of like, okay, not every video is going to go viral and blow up and be like 100,321 million views. And those are the special moments that you can like really look forward to when it does happen, but like appreciate the followers that are there even with the smaller views because they're the ones that are supporting you. There's the ones that are seeing you and they're the ones that have been there since day one. And so with that number and with that catalyst, it was really overwhelming because I didn't understand what was happening at the time. I saw these numbers and I didn't know where this was going to lead me. I just kept making videos and I just kept putting out content. I had so many dreams of wanting to create a clothing brand for equestrians. I started my own podcast for Equestrian Vibes and I just wanted to interview different girls and their stories because I feel like everyone had a story and a voice to be heard. And it's just, it happened so quickly that I didn't know how to process the numbers and I didn't understand it still because I wasn't in that creator mindset at that time because it was so new to me.
You see people listening, this is why we brought on Victori, because you wanted to do all these things. You have such a wonder and a curiosity that you're following every single one of them. You're such an ambitious person and everything that you touch, you know, in some way or shape or form, there is success attached to it. You know, whether you agree that it's like, oh, maybe this didn't, the equestrian podcast, and I don't know where that's at, if you're still doing it, but
yeah, it's about 10 episodes.
It's what?
It's about at 10 episodes.
10 episodes. So that's.
But I had to pause it because other ventures got in the way that I had to focus on.
There it is.
Yeah.
See, but you know, you do so much. And one thing that you said I wanted to go back to is the smaller amounts of views, maybe the followers, the audience that you do have.
Yeah.
You know, because right now we have a small niche audience, but they're with us.
Exactly.
You know, and there's something to be said about having the people, although it's not a massive filled room, but 190 people, you know, or 200 people, that's a lot of people, you know.
Put 200 people in a room, it's a lot of people.
Yeah,
the
it's
numbers
just a
turn
room.
into heartbeats.
There it is.
I told you that. The numbers
numbers.
turn into heartbeats and they see faces and they will fill a room.
Well, something that is incredible, I think, about your page or the TikTok page, maybe specifically, is like the engagement rate on that is wild. So I started clicking on comments. I'm like, let me got this video. It's got 10,000 comments. Let me look at that and see what's there. Is it bots or something? And as I'm scrolling through, it's all real people that are relating to, you know, the subject matter of it.
You didn't know this? The equestrian community is very vocal.
It's awesome.
Dude, I've got to tell you the amount of times I've gotten into it with a couple of
You don't know
equestrians.
anything about it.
Can you give me an example?
Right now?
Yeah.
You want to know what I've
I'd
gotten
love to know right now.
Yeah, no, we got into it about a couple of like horseback stuff.
Horseback
riding
stuff?
You ever heard of horseback riding? You ever done that?
No, I've heard of equestrian though.
Do you need a shovel?
What am I talking about? What am I talking about right now? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Going back to content creation, can we pivot to that really quick? Because I really want to know how much thought do you put into, how much thought did you put into it when you were casually doing it, curiously doing it? And then you said you started to go viral.
Yeah.
And then how did that change?
So with this whole scenario, I would create relatable content of just equestrians. Have you heard of this? But then there was also the storyline with Sally. And with Sally came other characters like Chad and Brooke and Miss Victori, the trainer. And there was this whole storyline of Sally going on all these many adventures and Brooke being like the girl that she didn't like because she was like the rich, perfect rider at the barn. And then Chad being the lover boy that she had a big crush on, but Brooke was with him. And it turned into this one-man show. It was literally, think of Disney Channel, but it was me at the farm with my phone and my horses recording all these skits. And I'm telling you, I could probably sell those horses for like $30,000 because of how childproof they are now from me acting so stupid on them. It's just like I was yelling around them. I was like jumping on their backs respectfully. No one come at me. I didn't break them.
Yeah.
But just like I was just so over the top with them, and they were just there existing, and people fell in love with certain horses. They loved certain horses more than other horses. Like Malibu, my horse, she became the horse that Sally wanted to ride in my series, but she couldn't ride because she wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And Sally still hasn't ridden Malibu yet. So it's like the storyline can keep going as I draw it out, and I bring different characters and different storylines. Like there was this one day where I used the green screen background, and I just made this video of some girl showing up to the barn for a photo shoot, me showing up as the owner and being like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And she's like, oh, I saw an ad on Craigslist saying that a photographer will be here. And then the photographer shows up. And that video got over 100,000 likes.
I saw this. This was part 4.
Yes.
Part
and then
4.
the next one was me literally with a crazy Snapchat filter on. I'm forgetting her name right now. I'm like blanking, but it's like a wild series that people were like on top of.
So you're not just a content creator. You're a storyteller.
I love stories.
She's a storyteller.
Yeah, because I base it off of one incident that I dealt with, and then I pull from there a storyline that never even happened to create something. So what started off as real has now been,
Yeah.
trickled into a whole series.
What a swing, dude. We talked about our last podcast. You said you listened to the Joker 2 one. We talked about such a huge swing, a risk. I feel like that's a huge one to make your own characters and just sort of,
Well, so as that's evolved,
Yeah.
how has your strategy or planning evolved? Because you were saying when you first started, it was like, I'm just doing as much as I can.
Yeah.
Like now that you've gone through this and you have this character development and the story development, like, are you spending a week like working on the story before you put something out?
So I'll tell you what I do to heart and what has made this consistent. I go to the barn, I set up my phone, and I just start recording. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing hard about it. There's nothing holding me back. I literally let my creativity explore where it wants to go. I know I'm in an environment where I'm safe. My horses don't judge me. They are my safe place. So I feel like I can be like my fullest potential out there. And I'm just creating content that I know I would want to see on my For You page and what other people would find interesting. So I just let it flow and happen. And I know, like, if my husband sees it, he'll be like, that's hilarious. My family, so, I just have, like, such a good core group around me. He's even started a few. Like, that's a funny thing. It's like that's Sally awesome. Was, like, hitting on him, but it was me hitting on my own. Like,
yeah. I think the thing you said that struck a chord with me just now is that it's a safe space. It's a safe place, you and your horses. And then that just allows you to connect in whatever comes out.
Yeah.
The followers may come, or the views may come, they may not. But whatever it is,
It would be nice for us to have a safe space.
I wish we had a safe
I
space.
feel
We don't
like
have
y'all
one.
do,
It never feels
though.
safe
This is
here.
not safe.
No.
Are you sure?
No.
No, between the three of us, it always feels like someone's got a knife in their pocket.
I don't believe, like, you guys have a good sense of humor with one another, but I really do feel like the community that you're creating with this podcast is that safe space.
They're safe.
Don't undermine it.
They're the safe space. They're
The people are
safe people.
safe.
Yeah.
It's in here.
It's this room. It's just something about the way Mike and Leon look at me. I don't know if I'm going to be okay.
I wish the camera could cut to Leon right now.
Yeah, I wish we had a camera on Leon. He nodded. Gosh, that is, thank you so much for sharing all that. I had no idea the extent to which you went to you created these stories and these characters.
Yeah.
And fulfilled this you created a world.
Yeah. And that's how they'll see me. I was at World Equestrian Center, and I sometimes do like princess events out there during the holidays. If you guys ever seen that, I get hired out by someone.
Me too.
And this
I
little
do Prince
girl
Eric.
comes up to Rapunzel, and she's like, I follow you on TikTok. Because I would make what it's like working at World Equestrian Center videos, and it would blow up, and the girls would see it, and they would come just to see me dressed as a princess, just to see me. Or I would be out at a bar, and some girl's like, oh my gosh, wait, you're that Miss Victory chick. You make the horseback riding videos.
That's so funny.
So it was like I was in the Cowboys bathroom, and this girl was like, I follow you on TikTok.
Wow, that's where you'll find somebody.
Yeah.
By the
Sounds
way,
a little scary.
Yeah, if you're listening
I follow you.
and you're in London, Cowboys is a country bar that's here in town, and that's 100% where you're gonna find Victory's audience.
I know. That's kind of why I go. I like go and prance around. I'm like, who notices me?
Dude, that's so funny. There's somebody that was a listener, one of our listeners I ran into at the gym.
That's so. Did you know them?
I did. A little bit, like not that well, a little bit. I just didn't think that they would.
I think it's my cousin.
All right, so my cousin Eric, hey, shout out to you, Eric.
Shout out.
No, I'm kidding.
Shout out
I don't
Eric,
have a
yeah.
cousin named Eric. But this person came up and was like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast, really liked it."
How does that make you feel?
Oh my God. I didn't know how to feel. I thought it was
Yeah.
weird. I was like, oh wow, people listen to this.
It's
People are
kinda
actually
like-
listening. The ears are hearing.
Was that your first time someone coming up to you in public?
Yes.
You are going to remember that forever.
You can't-
That's like a core memory now for you. And that's going to keep happening the more you
Mhm.
post and the more committed you guys are to this.
That's true. Yeah.
It's so exciting. You have so much to look forward to. Like, this is just like the beginning steps for y'all. You guys have so much to look forward to.
Yeah, like not hurting each other.
We need to
Sorry.
crush these dreams right now. So what about the negative stuff? Like,
Well,
how do
before
you-
you get in, can I ask?
No, absolutely not.
I can't ask a question.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Miss Victory, can I ask a question?
No, you have to. Myth Victory.
Myth Victory. Myth Victory.
This is awful. I'm sorry.
We're gonna
What
clip.
changes?
We're gonna clip that part.
I'm taking his question and making it better. Watch this.
Oh.
What changes when virality happens? When you start to get a large audience and the views continue to grow, and yeah, what changes?
It's always that expectation of I have to maintain this. It's that pressure of, okay, now that we've hit this, now every video from this point on will determine my worth. And I have to hit this amount of views and this amount of engagement every time, which is what backfires and what makes me hermit and not post for a few months. So this most recent viral video, I think I posted 2 more after, just kind of explaining some incidents of what was happening. And I haven't posted since. Because why? I'm afraid I might break my streak. Like, I'm going to be honest about it. Like, I'm not going to try to fluff it up and be like, oh, it's so easy. But like, everyone I feel like goes through that. Like, once you hit that pivotal point and you post a video and it only gets 2,000 views, how is that going to make you feel?
Yeah.
You kind of go from this high and then you go straight back down.
It's like an addiction. Yeah, where
Yeah,
you're
it
you're
is.
chasing the views.
It does
really
become
is.
an addiction.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of people don't want to admit that either. That they'll be like, oh, it's so great. I have high engagement. It's always so good. And it's like, no. Go look at some of the most viral YouTubers and the most viral TikTokers on that platform right now. You'll have really viral videos and you'll have some that have like 3,000, 6,000 likes and like maybe 20,000 views.
Yeah, I sometimes streamers come across my algorithm and I'm watching these streamers, which is a whole different game.
Yeah.
And I just, it looks so overwhelming. I couldn't do it. It seems a little soul sucking, you know? I mean, unless you're into it, but
it is,
it's a bit
especially the
different.
lives.
Yeah, the
when
lives.
people sit there and beg for money, I could never. That was like the one thing I never wanted to do on my platform is put up like a GoFundMe and have money collected from people. Anytime I collected money, it was through a brand deal. It was me through using like an artist music that reached out to me, or I was actually partnering with like a product that I actually loved. I never wanted to sell and never wanted to take from my followers because I know they were in the same boat as me. We were all the same. It's not like they had more money or I had more money. It's just equal.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. No, it seems tough. And plus, because we're carrying these phones, these computers in our pocket everywhere, you know, do you have a healthy way of detaching from it? So you say you haven't posted. Do you log out? How do you maintain that balance?
Dealing with it though, I have like 3 other social media platforms that
my
I'm constantly
gosh.
posting on. So not only is it my horseback riding one, I also have my Elvis page, my vintage page, my personal page, and then I run marketing for a company. So am I detached from my phone? You have to find that healthy balance of where you don't feel the need to always be on there and checking, especially with a few viral videos from me at work. I'm always going through the comments. I'm always seeing what people are saying about me. How can I improve? How can I be better? How can I be prettier? How can I be skinnier? It's like all of these things that constantly are going through my mind. And I sometimes just want to take it and tell them to shut up.
Yeah.
That was going to be what I was getting to, is the comment section. Is
Yeah.
like, you know, again, with the virality you're talking about, right? There's a threshold of like where you might have like 20 comments on something and now 4,000 comments. And like, how do you manage that? Going, you know, the good and the bad.
Yeah, of course. And again, it depends on the video. With my Sally videos, they're usually pretty funny. I'm like, haha, I like that. That was great. Like, it's pretty simple. They look like bots, but they aren't. Like, you know, it's like those simple videos. But when it comes to kind of more controversial videos or videos where I'm not doing my normal skits, the comments can get hard. I posted a video. I did a brand deal with Miranda Lambert for one of her songs. Do you know her?
Miranda.
If I was a cowboy.
Miranda
I-
Lambert? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know who she is. Mike, do
So-
you know who she is?
Not one bit.
You
no.
gotta start living. You
It's
gotta start
all right.
living, brother. You
Yeah.
gotta start looking, open your eyes, look around a little bit more.
I'll head over to Cowboys after.
All right, let's go.
I worked with Universal Music Studios a bit for my videos. So I used one of her songs, and they just, with those like brand deals, they kind of give you like, okay, here's a scenario, or you can do something that aligns with your niche. And I did that. And I made a video making fun of like fake country girls basically going to the barn and like pretending to be a country girl to impress the country boy. And she was just like messing everything up. Posted that, blew up, got 1 million views. And there was a bunch of hate comments in that, and people stitching my video and tearing me
Oh.
down.
What is stitching?
Oh,
So it's where they can take your video, show a short clip of it in the beginning, and then their face will pop up and they can say whatever they want to say.
Ah,
That's what they were doing. And they were like, this girl says she wants to break stereotypes. This girl's this girl's that, blah, blah, blah. And just like literally taking and tearing me down from that one video, that one scenario where I was not being serious. And it took me a minute to like, I took the video down, I turned off the comments, and I
Yeah.
sat there and I was like, okay, either I can put it back up and pretend it never happened, or I can make an apology video. I put it back up, just turned on the comments this year again, and they're risen up again, but I don't care. And I
Risen.
made a video just saying, hey, that was a joke. If you don't like it, keep scrolling.
yes.
Yeah, there you
Sorry,
go.
That was
yeah,
it.
microphone. Yes. Sorry,
So-
I was riding that wave with you, Victory.
Yeah, no, you just like, you kind of have to disconnect with it because like people only see a short portion of your life. It's
Yeah.
like my most recent video about the hurricane,
Mhm.
and me literally, I turned on my phone because I capture everything. It's in my nature. Turn
Mhm.
on my phone, I open up my gate, and I'm just recording my horses after they've been through hell of a
Mhm.
storm. You know, like
Oh my
that.
God, yeah. No one thinks about the horses, what they're doing during the hurricane.
Like, and I just posted that, and it's just like they came up to me, they circled me, like it was like this emotional moment, and I'm sharing such a vulnerable moment with people, and people are still in there calling me a horrible horse owner. I need to go to hell. I need to
What?
kill myself. I didn't
No.
evacuate my horses. Yes.
People are saying
Yes.
about the video you showed me that went
Yes.
like super viral.
Yes.
If you're
I'm
listening to this right now,
Yeah.
you need to go to Victory's TikTok. What's your TikTok?
equestrian vibes.
How do you spell equestrian? Sorry. Equestrian vibes. Because this video is beautiful. And when you showed it to me, I couldn't believe the choreography that you train those horses to all come out that way. It is the most
How did you know?
It's an insane video. It is insane. Like,
Yeah.
part of the reason why, like maybe why you capture everything is because every now and again something amazing happens.
Like
and that
that.
video
Yeah.
is amazing.
It's like those I share milestones on that page. Like whenever I got engaged, I was like, I made a video. I was like showing my first loved, I'm engaged now. And it was me literally, I like went up to my oldest horse. I got him when I was 11 years old. He was 5 years old. He's 25 now.
Which one is that?
23, Trouble?
Is it the one with the white?
No, that's
polka dotted
Ecliptic.
face? Okay.
No, that's
It's eclip-
Malibu.
It's ecliptic, Mikey.
Man,
You
no,
don't
no.
know.
You're such a dummy.
Trouble is the one that's brown, black legs, black mane. He kind of looks like a stoner. He has like
Yeah.
really long forelock.
Okay.
Sorry,
It's
bangs.
kind of like that
Bangs.
You don't know what that's called.
Yeah.
bangs.
Have you met him before?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Mm.
That's.
I'll make a
yeah.
skit about you next.
Can I potentially? Can we collab where I play a character? Maybe Raul. Can I bring Raul to the?
Would I get
To the-
canceled for that? You don't
You're
look
not
like a
gonna
Raul.
get
I'm
canceled for
so sorry.
Raul. I can do it. I'm Brazilian.
Is that a Brazilian name?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know how we move on from this.
Yeah. How do we pivot out of here, Leon? He doesn't even have a microphone.
Oh,
Damn.
well, these pivotal moments that I share
Yeah.
on my page, and it was just me showing that, and he literally looked at the ring and was like admiring the ring and looking at it, and came and like put his head on my chest,
That is
and I
so
started
amazing.
bawling my eyes out on camera, and that was not me trying to stage it or anything. And then Party City reached out to me because they saw my video and sent me
Shut
some
up.
engagement gifts. So it's like things like that where I just share it.
Okay, I want to get into this just niche element
Yeah.
real quick.
Please do.
So the horses, like you said he put his head on you. Is it them really connecting, or this is actually from a movie called Life of Pi, which is an interesting quote.
Oh yes.
They're talking about the animals and like
Mhm.
they don't have the tendencies and feelings that we think they do, and when we look at them, it's our own reflection looking back at us in their eyes. But you've spent so much time with these animals, like. Is it like that, or is it a real connection?
It's definitely a real connection, I would say. The horses each have their own personalities. That's for sure. I don't feel like none of my horses reflect who I am. Now they bounce off the energy of what you're feeling when you are riding them.
Mm.
So let's say some of my lessons when I would ride, I would come back home from school stressed, and my horses would not want to behave under saddle. They would be stressed as well, anxious because they were feeling my vibrations in my body and my tension on them,
Mm.
and they were also reflecting it in that sense. Yes,
Mhm.
but as an individual and their own being, they are themselves.
Mm.
But we do have like that bond. They know who I am. They see me because I'm not always at the barn every day since they are at my parents' house.
Mhm.
So I try to go over as often as I can, and they'll see my car and like run up to my car, or they'll see me get out of my car and they all come over to the fence line to greet me. So they know who mama is.
Oh, you can see in
Yeah.
in the video that he was referencing before after the storm.
Yeah.
Like they feels like they turn the corner and they see you and they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, she's
You know
here.
why, Mike? Because they know who mama is.
Yeah.
Was that a weird? I feel like
No,
one
it's
of
not
those
weird.
like,
I think it's weird that Mike doesn't understand who mama is.
I feel like one of those mom TikTokers are like, "Hey moms, it's me."
Yeah. But that video though, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to show it to Leon after this.
I hate that. Can you like cut that out? We know who
No,
mama
we're
is. Oh
keeping
my
it.
god.
Let's
I
go ahead
think
and clip
people
that
need
and
to
use
know-
it on the
Because people need to. Oh, almost said. People
Don't
need to
say
know
it.
who
No.
Papa is.
You're not the papa.
You know who Papa is.
Mm.
Papa. Papa.
Yeah, we can cut that part.
No,
We'll
no,
cut
we're
it out.
keeping it.
Yeah.
We're
You
keeping it
sounded
the
like
entire time.
11 from Stranger Things. She's like, Papa?
Papa.
I do not sound like 11 from Stranger Things. So, I'm kind of blown away at your entire approach to social media. Because as somebody who's kind of just now in this journey of putting himself
Yeah.
out there, a lot of the times I find myself in my head about what to do, how to tell a story. I've been a storyteller for a long time,
Yeah.
but telling my story, like that's a completely different thing. To have that courage, which you've had and you've built up for quite some time. But what sort of tips and advice do you have for people who are kind of in my position, in Mike's position, to put themselves out there?
Well, like I told you the time that we talked, just do it.
Yeah.
Who's that one YouTuber who's like, just do it?
Yeah.
Just do it. Shia LaBeouf, shout out.
That's the biggest thing is like record it, post it, and put it out there. If you don't get any views, that's not going to affect you. If you get millions of views, that's not going to affect you. I just like keep making the content. Find something that you're so passionate about and just start making content about that. Because it's so upsetting to put yourself into a market and a niche where you're not happy and that's what you explode up from. People will do trendy things. People will try to be on top of the trends, but they aren't really happy with their content making. And that's not going to be the long run for them. It's going to be a short fuse that will die out eventually.
Yeah.
So you want to find something that, again, look for something in which you love that is missing a gap, a hole. So for you, it would be drums, both of you.
I'm retired. I don't play drums anymore.
Okay,
He plays drums every week for money.
He does.
Tomorrow I got a gig, but after that I'm freaking done, dude. I'm not doing it
Okay,
anymore.
whatever
But
you're
I see what
into.
you're saying. Find out where you can fit in, where there's a need,
and grow
right?
from there for sure. And if you just want to make storytime videos, reaction videos, unboxing videos, like there's so much and there's such a vast area of where you can search, and you can even like just go to chat, like use AI, just like what you were talking about AI in your last episode. I listened. Use AI and just type in your niche and different things that you can pull from that and just start making stuff. Because sometimes I literally will always be like, hey chat, I have this character, this is the storyline, how can I elaborate more? And it will give me a script of everything. Now, do I follow the script? No, but I kind of take the storyline and things that I want from there.
To me, that's important. That's how you use the AI platforms, is like as an assistant.
Yeah.
And then
'Cause it
you
doesn't
choose
sound
what you
human.
want to. Yeah,
A lot of the stuff does not sound human.
No.
It sounds like a staged reality show, and that's not what I want. It's me staging the reality show. That's what I
It's
said.
my staged reality
Yeah,
show that I
like-
want. Yeah, no, yes, it's a thought partner. It's a great thought partner. What would you say, Victori, to the person that wants to post, has an idea to post, maybe even has a niche, an idea in this whole story, but is still hung up on this idea of I'm not worthy, I'm afraid of what people are going to think, I'm going to look stupid. How do I just do it? Is there...
Well, you guys really aren't on TikTok. So you'll be scrolling on TikTok and you'll just kind of come across a dud video. I call it a dud video because it's usually someone that is very interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I'll say it. I'll say it right. I'm just kidding.
No.
I don't even know what you're going to say.
I was about to like, don't say it, man.
There's nothing wrong with them, but they're just interesting. Like they're not your normal creator. And yet they have the guts to be posting whatever they want to be posting on their page.
Mhm.
And I'm one of the very few that see that video. And how I interact with it is either going to make or break their day. So think about that one person that you sometimes come across that's posting stuff and it's kind of weird and cringy, but they're still doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Because like as much as we want to tell ourselves that we're not worthy, we're not good content creators, we're not good at whatever we're wanting to pursue,
Mhm.
that's trying to stop you from succeeding something that could possibly change your life.
Mm.
So letting that go and letting that fear go and just throwing it and just dropping the ball and just doing it and seeing what comes from it is not going to harm you in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that, what if I didn't do that? What if I didn't post that video? What if I didn't make that podcast? What if I didn't
Right.
do that audition, commercial, whatever it is and whatever you guys are wanting to do as listeners? I would say just go for it because it's not going to hurt you. And if you're scared of what other people have to say about you, close your ears and move on. They're not supposed to be in your corner anyway.
How has it changed your life?
Are you serious? Look at her, dude.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
She's glowing. She's involved in 50 different domains.
When
She's
I
successful in all of them. Sorry, I just
It's
answered
okay.
for you.
I'm like,
Yeah. Do you want me to keep going?
no, it's
No,
okay.
you don't keep going.
I'll keep
I
going.
was waiting. I was like, I look back on 20-year-old Victori and how tiny she was and how self-conscious she was about everything. You know, she wasn't the fittest. She didn't really know her worth at the time, but she knew that she had dreams and aspirations of something that she wanted to succeed, and she did it. She had just coming out of toxic relationships, toxic friendships, toxic environments that like destroyed who she was as a whole.
Mhm.
And she got to the point where she no longer cared about what those people thought. And she just started making the videos, making the content, making the connections, and building that community that she so longed for and looked for her entire life.
If 20-year-old Victori could see this Victori right now,
Mm-hmm.
she'd be so proud of her.
Stop, you're gonna make me cry.
You built a community of like 500,000 people. It's
She'd be-
amazing.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful people too, because there's so much that will reach out and just like want to talk about certain things that's going on. And like in my bio, my whole thing is breaking stereotypes in the question community with humor. I'm all about breaking the stereotypes within any community that I go within, because I feel like there's such a facade and these goals that are so unrealistic for young girls that I wish I had, that I want to be that barrier for, and for them to see themselves within me and be like, I can do that too. Doesn't matter if it's me being a Disney princess. That's not my job, by the way. Don't cancel me. I'm so afraid Disney's gonna come after me and be like fired.
They're on their
and
way.
I don't even
They're
work
on their way
there.
right now.
I
with
know.
sirens around.
Like just from like side gigs of being a princess to like being that equestrian girl, or also just being like a podcaster and just helping other people. It's like I want them to be able to see that me starting it, they could do it too. Because she literally, her first podcast was her sitting in a closet on a phone recording.
Wow.
It was literally, I remember I had a girl, it was me and her. I was doing my first interview and I was sitting in the closet on speakerphone with her, recording it so I could post it.
Wow.
Her name was Mary, and I still remember it vividly. And she's like awesome.
Shout out, Mary.
Shout out, Mary.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary.
Gosh.
But we didn't touch on this, and I feel like we should.
Yeah.
The podcasting.
Yeah.
So you do Pink Cadillacs,
I do.
which is a podcast. I want to say about Elvis.
Yeah.
What can you elaborate on it?
So I'll kind of give you like kind of a buffer of where we started.
Okay.
Imagine 2022. You're in the theaters and Elvis, the movie, comes out. Did you see that?
Yes.
I loved
We
it.
call that in the Elvis community, that is like our summer. That was like when everything was shining and we were so happy.
Sorry, I'm looking at
I
Leon.
know. I had to look over at Leon. I was like, I'm sorry.
Leon, you love Elvis, right?
No, he doesn't.
Leon is
No,
faking.
he doesn't.
Leon is faking.
He asked that
this
question.
entire-
Put the camera on me real quick. He just nods. He went.
Leon loves Elvis.
I
He
feel
loves
like
Elvis.
I try not to talk about him when we're all together
Yeah.
outside of this place because I'm like, I know he doesn't like him. I put
No.
on Willy Wonka for you though anytime I have the remote.
What? You really want
I don't know the
for him?
context of that as
That's
well.
his favorite movie.
Oh my
Is it?
No, it's
Which
better
one?
Not be.
Yeah.
Like an OG? Okay.
Are you
I love how I
serious?
take notes about Leon,
It's
and y'all
called
didn't know that.
Charlie and the
Yeah.
Chocolate Factory, isn't it?
Hold on.
Okay.
The book.
It's a good movie.
Leon roasts me like the oven has never turned off. Okay?
Like a
And
pan of
his
vegetables.
favorite movie
Yeah.
is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Willy
Willy
Wonka
Willy Wonka and the
with
chocolate.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, the original. Isn't it the OG one, right?
I want
Yeah,
to push
the
back
OG.
and I want to turn on the oven to roast him, but I feel like this is detracting from Elvis Presley, which
It's
is
okay.
the greatest of all time, the king, the one and the only. May he rest in power.
So
We're gonna get back to that.
all right, no,
I'm
we're
upset
in the
about
summer of Elvis.
Summer of Elvis.
Yeah.
Summer of 2022, and I did not know what was coming, what was happening. I go to the theater with two of my best friends, my mom and dad, and like my husband was not there. That's probably good he wasn't. He would have been like, "Oh my god, what's wrong with her?" So we're sitting in the theater, and I'm like sitting there just watching this movie, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I had no idea. Like, my mom always talked about Elvis growing up. Like, I've heard of him. I knew Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock, the
Yeah.
classics, but I didn't know who Elvis Presley was.
Oh,
And so I leave that theater. My two friends were like, oh, yeah, he was pretty cool. And then I'm like, yeah, he was really cool. And there was something that deeper that kind of convicted me. And I had such I've always been into style. And there was something about Priscilla Presley's style from that movie and the way she was portrayed that kind of made me want to study that era a little bit more. So it started with the sense of not only the music, but the style as well.
mm-hmm.
And so I started reading Elvis and Me, Priscilla Presley's book, and I fell in love with their love story. I know it was toxic. I know it was brutal. People have opinions. Don't come at me. But besides all of that, go watch my podcast to be educated.
Mm-hmm.
There was something just about the music, that era, and that life that was so mesmerizing to me. And I was looking around and I'm like, good Lord, everyone that loves Elvis is hitting the grave. Think
That's
about
right.
that.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
The generation is coming to an end. Like, I talked to my grandmother about him, and she's like in her late 70s, going into her
Sure.
80s. And I'm like, I literally don't have anyone to talk to. And I made an account, my own account, besides Equestrian Vibes. And I just started making Elvis content on there. And I started finding a community on there too of girls in their 20s. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I had this idea. I want to make a podcast. I just put fillers out there. I was like, hey, I'm looking for a co-host in their 20s. I want to make a podcast. And I don't want to do it alone because that would be boring.
Mm-hmm.
And so a girl named Skylar reached out to me and we started talking, became instant besties. And now we have the Pink Cadillacs. And this
Pink
is
Cadillacs were born.
Yeah, that's how it was. She lives in Arizona, Florida, and we make it work.
And you told a story once about what was it that you went to an event or you had an event somewhere else where the two of you were out and then met people that listened to the podcast?
So Graceland hosts Elvis Week and his birthday and stuff. So Elvis Week is a whole week-long celebration. It's the week that he passed away. So people gather. We have a bunch of events. We have people that come out and talk that knew Elvis, but the crowds are getting smaller and smaller due to age and time and being time.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we are making it such a pivotal moment to get the new girls and the new generation that wants to carry on his legacy to start going to these events too. And this past Elvis Week, it was in August, we call it the Pink Cadillac Meetup. We started just broadcasting, hey, if you want to come meet us up, we started making friendship bracelets. We actually sold them. We called them Cadillac Charms, and we sold them because we needed to raise money to go to Graceland. So we would make merch, we would make charms, and we would sell it. And we were like, come to the meetup. If you're coming to the meetup, make friendship bracelets, bring goodies, and let's just crash it. And so we didn't know how many people were going to show up to this event. We were thinking maybe 5 or 10. We were being generous. We were like, okay, it's going to be fine, 5, 10. And it's not going to be much. We are in the guest house lobby, which is the hotel right next to Graceland. And a mob of people start showing up around our time.
That's so crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah. And again.
And you weren't expecting that.
No. We didn't. Skylar and I always think, we're like, are we important? And I always joke, I'm like, am I important now? We're actually doing stuff. But it's always that thought, how important am I? How much of an impact am I making in this community? Am I being noticed? Am I leaving that legacy that I want to leave behind and doing it correctly? And that showed us that, again, those numbers turning into heartbeats and faces were enough to suffice the goal that we have been searching for and doing.
I love it when you say that. It turns into a heartbeat, humanizes it. Because it's so detached from the tablet, from your phone. And then you forget about that and you let it affect you way deeper than it really should.
Because you see
Until-
numbers.
Yeah, because you see numbers.
You don't see faces.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I think that's, again, when you were talking about the bigger creators, starting off small like you guys are doing, you guys really do have the point where you have a community and you can connect with people, because the bigger you get, the harder it is to connect with everyone that you have a reach to.
Yeah.
So it's almost better. I don't want to say like smaller creators, but brands prefer smaller creators to work with. People prefer to like connect with smaller creators because you guys are attainable. A lot of these people that are big and out there are not attainable, and people literally want that connection where if you comment, you get a reply.
Yeah. And I always say this to them too, is that I mean, personally for me, I don't think I'm ready for like a big audience. I think I like what we're at, where we're doing. I think if you know, thousands and tens of thousands of people started, you know, listening to us, I don't know. I think I would start getting a little weird. More weird than usual.
Are we not weird already?
Well, yeah.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
are we sure?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we get worse.
Pretty weird. Yeah.
Raoul would come out and it would be weird.
I can't wait to
Wait
see
until
where
the
like
skit.
the long term
I
of where Raoul goes.
I know. I
here.
kind of
Yeah.
want to see you do a skit with you now with that.
I would do a skit, but you'd have to pay me with a Cadillac bracelet. Cadillac charm bracelet.
I have plenty.
Do you really?
No, seriously, because all the girls brought stuff. Yeah,
I kinda
so
want one.
that day, people handmade mirrors with Elvis's face on it. People made Elvis air fresheners. Like there was just so many crafty people that literally handmade things and brought them. It was not just friendship bracelets.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I want an ACA petri dish with your guys' face on it.
I don't know what to
A
say.
pastry dish?
A petri dish.
Petri
What's
dish.
that?
I don't really- I don't really know.
Biome and
What? Am I that young? Wait.
Biome. I don't know. I'm not
What
a
generation
I'm not a
is
science
this?
guy. I'm a
Wow, we
music
just
guy.
show the world how much we don't know about anything. Oh my gosh.
You put bacteria in there and you watch what it does. You watch them. You watch little
Is it like
bacteria
little sea monkeys?
fight each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it is. No, that's not what it is. I don't know what it is, but here's but
Well, we're gonna have to cut that.
we're gonna have to cut that part out.
Cut a lot of this stuff.
Victory, I'm never good at ending these things. But I gotta say, I'm so happy that you came on and that you talked about all the stuff that you've been doing, especially because kind of where we're at, really kind of where I'm at too. Mostly I'm speaking for myself here with all this stuff, and to hear your journey through it and how courageous you are and how much you do. It's really inspiring. I really appreciate you coming on.
And it just hammers the point home for people, like, just go out and create things.
Yeah.
You just got to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. I feel like we live in so much fear of what people are going to think of us online because it's so easy to get a mean comment and let that affect us. Like, the world wants you to live in fear because they don't want you to succeed.
Mm.
So don't let that stop you from doing that. Don't be fearful. Find that peace and your power and take it and run with it. For sure.
Find your power, take it, and run with it.
Don't take that from me.
About to make I was gonna make a t-shirt. I was gonna make petri dishes.
Petri dish with that quote on it.
Sell them online. Victory, do you have anything coming up? Do you want to shout out your podcast and
Yeah.
all your
So
stuff?
the Pink Cadillacs, you guys can find us on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcasts, and we're at the.pink.cadillacs on Instagram. That's where we're most active. Facebook just isn't our vibe, but we do it for the old folks.
Oh, that's me.
It's
I'm
you.
the old folks.
It's literally Mike.
Go follow us then. We're on there.
If you're on there, yeah, we'll go.
Yeah, we're there. And we're also on YouTube too at Elvis and the Pink Cadillacs. And you can find me on TikTok at Equestrian Vibes and on Instagram at equestrian.vibes with a Z. That's it. Thank you guys.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming on.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming
having me.
on.
This was such a joy. It's so cool being here because I'm always interviewing other people. So I was like, wait, it's my turn to shine.
Well, it's over. Stay creative, people. We love you. Bye.
Canceled.
Amazing.